Merry Christmas and welcome. I'm Joe Smith. All of us at NBC Palm Springs hope you are enjoying this special time of year. For the next hour, we're taking you on a trip to Bedford Falls for A Wonderful Life, a radio play. Our thanks to Joshua Carr and Ray Lamone of Desert Theatricals, and also the City of Rancho Mirage for making this possible. So, gather around the TV and settle in for this commercial-free presentation of It's a Wonderful Life, a radio play.
We are live in 5, 4, 3.
WBFR Radio in New York City.
This is WBFR, Playhouse of the Air. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from WBFR Studio A in Manhattan, New York, right here in the US of A. I'm your host, Freddie Fillmore, and it is my pleasure to bring you your favorite stories this and every week on WBFR Playhouse of the Air. Tonight, we bring you a real good heartwarmer, perfect for this or any Christmas Eve. It's a Wonderful Life. We begin our story in a little town of Bedford Falls, New York, where a number of people in the town are praying their dear friend, a typical American day, George Bailey.
Dear God, please look after my husband, George.
George is a good boy, you know that. My son has always gone out of his way to give others a hand. Now it's him who needs the help.
Help my big brother, George. He's done so much for us all. More than needed.
I remember all the times he would stay late after work and not ask a cent. The world needs more
George Bailey never thinks about himself. I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for him.
For him, I would have given up long ago. All I think about is myself. I must have taken the last cent he had.
The voices carry heavenly, and Joseph, the superintendent of angels, summons Clarence, an apprentice angel.
You sent for me, sir?
Yes, Clarence, a man down on earth needs our help.
Splendid. Is he sick?
No, worse. He's discouraged. At exactly 10:45 p.m. tonight, Earth time, that man will be thinking seriously of throwing away God's greatest gift.
Oh dear, his life. Then I've only a half hour to dress. What are they wearing now?
You will spend that half hour getting acquainted with George Bailey.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, might I perhaps win my wings? I've been waiting over 200 years now, and people are beginning to talk.
What's that book you've got with you?
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, sir.
You do a good job with George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Thank you.
And if you're going to help George, you'll want to know a little something about him. Look, see that town?
Why, yes, a group of young boys sledding down a snow-covered hill and onto the ice.
Yippee! Come on, everybody.
Who's that?
That's George Bailey when he was 12 back in 1919. Something happens here you'll have to remember later on.
Me next. Here comes the scare baby, my kid brother, Harry Bailey.
I'm not scared.
Oh, come on, Harry. Come on, you can do it, Harry.
Yippee! George, help!
Help!
Harry's falling through the ice!
I'm coming, Harry. I'll make a chain gang.
His brother fell through the ice and George saved him.
But the icy water gave George a bad ear. It was weeks before he could return to his school job at Old Man Gower's drugstore.
It's me, Mr. Gower, George Bailey.
You're late.
2 cents worth of shoelaces, Violet?
Please, Georgie. I like him.
You like every boy.
What's wrong with that?
Here you are.
Bye, Georgie. See you later, Mary.
Made up your mind yet, Mary?
I'll take chocolate.
With coconuts?
I don't like coconut.
You don't like coconuts? Well, say, Brainless, don't you know where coconuts come from? Look at here. From Tahiti, Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
Is that a new magazine? I've never seen that before.
Of course you never. Only us explorers can get it. I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society. Let me get your ice cream.
Is this the ear you can't hear on, George Bailey? I'll love you till the day I die.
I'm going exploring someday. Wait and see.
George, you're not paid to be a canary.
Goodbye, George.
Bye, Mary.
What was that piece of paper George just picked up?
It's a telegram for Mr. Gower. He found out this morning that his son died of influenza, and he spent the afternoon drowning his grief in whiskey.
Mr. Gower, do you need anything?
No.
Well, I'll get them, sir.
Take those capsules over to Mrs. Blaine's.
Well, they have the diphtheria there, haven't they?
I'll get going.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gower, that bottle you used, you put something wrong in those capsules.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Ow, you're hurting my sore here.
Did you hear what I said? Get out of here.
Mr. Gower, you don't know what you're doing. You put something wrong in those capsules. I know you got that telegram and you're upset, but look at the bottle you used, Mr. Gower. It's poison.
Poison?
Oh, don't hit my sore here again.
Poison, oh, George.
Oh, all I wanted was to make sure, Mr. Gower. I won't tell a soul. Hope to die I won't.
Did he ever tell anyone about those pills?
Not a soul.
Did he ever marry the girl? Did he ever go exploring?
Well, we'll get to that soon enough, Clarence. George grew up and wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't the money. So he worked 4 years in the Building and Loan Association.
Building and Loan Association?
George's father was in the building and loan business, along with George's Uncle Billy.
George, what's the combination to the safe?
We wrote it down so you wouldn't forget.
That's right. Where?
Who's that?
That's Henry F. Potter, the richest and meanest man in all the county.
Peter, Potter's here.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Bailey! Mr. Bailey! There is nothing quite so loathsome as a family business. Now, Peter, you know what I'm here for. I'm on a very tight schedule, a family to evict at 3.
All right, Mr. Potter, here's the thing. I just need a little more time. I'll dig up the $5,000 somehow.
Have you put any pressure on those people of yours to pay their mortgages?
Times are hard, Mr. Potter. A lot of people are out of work.
Then foreclose.
Well, I can't do that. These families have children.
Are you running a business or a charity war?
Mr. Potter, what makes you such a hard-skulled character? You have no family, no children. You can't even begin to spend all the money you've got.
So I suppose I should give it to miserable failures like you and that idiot brother of yours to spend for me?
You can't call my father a failure.
It's all right, son, thanks.
Don't let him say that about you, Pop.
What kind of business are you running here?
George worked and saved enough to see him through the university, but first he was going to Europe. Old man Gower surprised him with a gift of a great big suitcase. On his way home from the store, he ran into his friends Ernie, the cab driver, and Bert, the cop.
Hey, Ernie.
Hiya, George.
Hi, Bert.
Hey, George, what is the suitcase for?
I'm a rich tourist today. How about driving me home in style?
Sure, Your Highness. Hop in the cab. And for the carriage trade, I puts on my hat.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bailey. Looks like you're ready to get out of here.
Oh, hello, Violet. Hey, you look pretty good. That's some dress.
Oh, this old thing? I only wear it when I don't care how I look. See you later.
Want to come along, Bert? We'll show you around the town.
Oh, no thanks. I think I'll go home and see what the wife's doing.
Family man.
That evening, George had dinner with his father.
Boy, my last supper in the Bailey boarding house.
We're sure going to miss you, George. I just wish we could send Harry to college with you.
We have that all figured out. Hey, Harry will take my job at the building and loan and for 4 years, and then he'll go.
Yeah, he's pretty young for that job.
No younger than I was.
You were born older, George. I suppose you've decided what you're going to do when you get out of college.
What I've always talked about. Building things. Design new buildings. Plan modern cities.
Well, it's just a hope, but you wouldn't consider coming to the building and loan, would you? I mean, I know it's a little early to talk about it. But...
Oh, I couldn't face being cooped up for the rest of my life in that shabby little office. I'm sorry, Pop. I didn't mean that remark. But this business of spending all your life trying to figure out how to save 3 cents on a length of pipe, I'd go crazy. I want to do something big and important.
You know, George, I feel that in a small way we're doing something important. It's not too much for a man to want his own roof and walls and a fireplace, and we're helping him get those things in our shabby little office.
I know, Dad, but most of my friends have already finished college. I feel like if I don't get away, I just bust.
You're right, son. This town's no place to live if you're not willing to crawl to Potter. Go on, get your education and get out of here.
Glad you see it that way. Say, maybe I'll go say goodbye to Main Street. Last night in town and all.
Have a good time, son.
Hello, Georgie Porgy.
Hello, Vi.
Where are you going?
Oh, probably end up at the library.
Don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Yes. Say, what are you doing tonight?
Not a thing, Georgie.
Are you game, Vi? What say we make a night of it?
Oh, I'd love it, Georgie. What'll we do?
Let's go out in the fields and take off our shoes and walk in the grass.
Huh?
And then we can go up to Stewart Lake. It's beautiful up there in the moonlight. And then we can swim, and then we can climb Mount Bedford and smell the pines and watch the sunrise against the peaks. And we'll stay up there for the whole night. And everybody will be talking, and there'll be a terrific scandal.
George, have you gone crazy? Walk in the grass in my bare feet? Why, it's 10 miles up there to Mount Bedford. You think just because you... Oh!
Okay, just forget about the whole thing.
Hee-haw! Forget about what, George?
Oh, nothing, Sam.
You remember Mary, don't you?
Hi, George.
Hi, Mary.
You wouldn't mind walking Mary home, would you?
Oh, of course not. Is that okay with you, Mary?
Fine by me.
Great, thanks. Hee-haw!
George walked Mary home? Is that important, Joseph?
I'd say it is, because even though Mary lived only 4 blocks away, it took them 2 hours to get there.
Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight?
Come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon?
Hot dog. Oh, boy, just like an organ. Gee whiz.
Beautiful.
You know something? If I wasn't talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
I don't know. Maybe I will. Hey, look. Look where we are.
Oh, the old Granville house.
Yeah, I gotta throw a rock.
Oh, no, don't. I love that old house.
Oh, don't you know about deserted houses? You make a wish and you throw a rock.
But, George, it's such a lovely old place. I wish I lived there.
I wouldn't live there if I was a ghost. Now watch this. Pretty good shot, huh? Broke a window.
Well, what's your wish, George?
Oh, not one wish. A whole hatful, Mary. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum, and then I'm coming right back here to go to college and see what they know. And then I'm going to build airfields and skyscrapers 100 stories high and bridges a mile long. Hey, what are you going to throw a rock to?
Okay.
Well, hey, that's pretty good. What'd you wish for?
Oh, no, if I tell you, it may not come true.
What do you want, Mary? Do you want the moon? All you gotta do is just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Okay, I'll take it. And then what?
Well, and then you could swallow it. And it dissolves, see? And the moonbeams would shoot out your fingers and your toes and the ends of your hair and the... I'm talking too much, aren't I?
Yes. Why don't you just kiss her instead of talking to her to death?
Who's that?
Old man Collins on his front porch.
Youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Hey, mister, you get back here and I'll show you some kissing that'll put hair back on your head.
George!
Uncle Billy.
George, get in the car quick. Your father had a stroke.
I'm sorry, Mary. I've got to go.
George's father died that night, Clarence, so George couldn't go to Europe. That fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan held a meeting. They were going to appoint a successor.
Well, we've got to find somebody
gonna be.
to do this. Can't just let it...
Now, I want the board to know that George gave up his trip to Europe to help straighten things out here these past few days. Now, it was greatly appreciated. I think that's all we need for you, George. Good luck to you at school. I know you're anxious to make a train.
Yes, I have a taxi waiting downstairs.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get to my real purpose. I claim this institution is not necessary to this town. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to dissolve the building and loan.
Wait a minute, you can't do that.
Wait, it's too soon after Peter Bailey's death to discuss chloroforming the building and loan. His faith and devotion are responsible for this organization.
I'll go further than that. I'll say Peter Bailey was the building and loan.
Oh, that's fine, Potter. Coming from you, considering that you drove him to his grave.
Peter Bailey was not a businessman. That's what killed him. He was a man of high ideals without common sense. And what does that get us but a discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class? All because of a few starry-eyed dreamers like Peter Bailey. Stir them up and fill their heads with a lot of impossible hooey, I say.
Just a minute, Mr. Potter. You're right when you say my father was no businessman. Why he ever started this building alone, I'll never know. But you can't say anything against his character. Why, in the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. But he did help a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter. And just remember that this rabble you're talking about do most of the working and paying and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? My father didn't think so. And people were human beings to him. But to you a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. In my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book.
Well, I've said too much. You're the board. You do what you want with this thing. But remember that this town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can come to without crawling to Potter. Come on, Uncle Billy.
Sentimental hogwash. I want my motion.
That's just coming out of the board meeting. I'll have to call you back. What happened, George? All we heard was yelling.
Boy, oh boy, Matilda. You should have heard George.
Yeah, they're voting us down in there.
They're putting us out of business. So what? I can get another job. I'm only 52.
You're 58.
George, they voted Potter down.
Woo-hoo! We're still in business.
Oh, under one condition, that you take your father's place, George.
I'm going to college. Uncle Billy here, he's your man.
Oh, you can keep him on, that's all right.
Oh, I'm going to school. This is my last chance.
But they'll vote with Potter otherwise.
So, George Bailey didn't go to college.
That's right, Clarence. He gave his college money to his brother instead and waited 4 years for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan. Then he could still see the world.
There she blows. I say, Uncle Billy, you know what the 3 most wonderful sounds on earth are?
Breakfast is served, lunch is served, dinner is served.
Anchor chains, plane motors, and train whistles. Well, here's the professor now.
Well, if it isn't George Geographic Explorer Bailey. Uncle Billy, you haven't changed a bit.
Oh, am I glad to see you.
Where's Mother?
Oh, she's home cooking the fatted calf. Come on, let's go.
Oh, wait. This is Ruth Dakin.
Ruth Dakin Bailey, if you don't mind.
I wired you I had a surprise. Here she is. Meet the wife.
Well, what do you know? Wife.
Oh, congratulations, Harry. Why didn't you tell somebody? Oh, what's a pretty girl like you doing marrying this two-headed brother of mine?
It's purely mercenary. My father offered him a job.
Oh, he gets you and a job? Harry's cup runneth over. Come on, Ruth. Let's start ahead and leave the bags for the fellas.
All right.
George, about that job, I never said I'd take it. You've been holding the bag here for 4 years, and I won't let you down.
And that night, the homecoming for Harry became his wedding party, and Uncle Billy familiarized himself with the spirits.
Oh boy, I feel so good I could spit in Potter's eye. I think I will. What do you say? Maybe I should just go home. If you'd just point me in the right direction.
Right down there.
That way? Okay, old building and loan pal. See you later. I'm all right.
George!
Out here on the porch, Mother.
Well, how do you like your new sister-in-law?
Well, she's swell.
Looks like she'll keep Harry on his toes.
Yeah, I should keep him out of Bedford Falls anyway.
George, do you know Mary Hatch is back from school?
Yeah.
Nice girl, Mary. The kind who will help you find all the answers.
Uh-huh.
Give me one good reason you shouldn't call on her.
Well, Sam Wainwright. Sam's crazy about her.
Well, she's not crazy about him.
Well, how do you know that? Did she discuss it with you?
Besides, Sam's in New York, and you're here in Bedford Falls.
Oh, and all's fair in love and war?
I don't know about war.
All right, Mother. I think I'll go out and find a girl and do a little passionate necking.
Oh, George.
Bye, Mrs. Bailey. Hey, by the way, do you want any books at the library?
The library. George, you go and see Mary, you hear?
Hello, George.
Well, hello, Mary. I just happened to be passing by.
Oh, your mother just phoned, though, and said you were on your way.
My mother just called you? Oh, how did she know? I just went for a walk and happened to be passing by. When did you get back?
Tuesday. Would you like to come in?
Well, I guess, since I'm here. Where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
It's all right. I thought you'd go back to New York with Sam and the rest of them.
Oh, I worked there a couple of vacations, but I don't know. I guess I was homesick.
Homesick for Bedford Falls?
Yes, and my family, and so everything.
I still can't understand it, though. I didn't tell anybody I was coming here.
Would you rather leave?
Oh, I don't want to be rude.
It was nice about Harry and Ruth, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Don't you like her?
Well, of course I like her. She's a peach.
It's just marriage in general that you're not enthusiastic about?
No, marriage is okay for Harry and Sam and you.
Mary? Who are you talking to?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey? What does he want?
Well, I don't know. What do you want, George?
Oh, me? No, not a thing. I just came in to get warm.
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
Now you tell him to go right back home. Sam Wainwright promised to call from New York tonight, didn't he?
Your mother needed. I didn't come here to.
Well, what did you come here for?
Well, you're supposed to be the one who knows all the answers. You tell me.
Oh, why don't you go home?
Oh, that's where I'm going.
Mary, the telephone. It's Sam.
I'll get it. Hee-haw! Hello, Sam. How are you?
Oh, great. Gee, it's good to hear your voice again.
Oh, well, that's awfully sweet of you, Sam. There's an old friend of yours here, George Bailey.
You mean old mossback George? Hee-haw! Put him on!
Wait a minute, I'll call him. George.
He doesn't want to speak to George.
He asked for him. George, Sam wants to speak to you.
Hello, Sam?
Hey, a fine pal you are. What are you trying to do, steal my girl?
Nobody's trying to steal your girl.
I want to talk to both of you. Tell Mary to get on the extension.
Mother's on the extension.
I am not.
We can both hear you, Mother. George, put your head a little closer.
Okay.
There, that's much better. We're listening, Sam.
I have a big deal coming up that's going to make us all rich. George, remember that night at Martini's bar when you told me about making plastics out of soybeans?
Uh-huh. Yeah, soybeans.
Well, my father checked into it, and he wants to build a factory outside of Rochester. What do you think of that?
Why Rochester?
Why not? Can you think of anything better?
Why not right here in Bedford Falls? You remember that old Tool and Machinery Works? You tell your father he can get that for a song. All the labor he wants, too. Half the town was thrown out of work when they closed down.
Is that so? Well, that sounds great. Now, here's the point, George. I may have a job for you. That is, unless you're still married to that old broken-down building and loan. Oh, Mary?
I'm here.
Tell that guy I'm giving him a chance of a lifetime.
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Give me that phone. Now, you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any plastics, and I don't want any job. And I don't want to get married, ever, to anyone. Do you understand that? I don't want to do what you're telling me to. You're not going to... Oh, Mary.
George.
Oh, Mary, yeah, I love you.
George, I love you.
George and Mary were married, and following the wedding and reception, George's old pal Ernie, the cab driver, drove the happy couple to the train station.
Where are you two off to on this here honeymoon?
We're going to shoot the works. All week in New York, then Bermuda, the highest hotels, all the champagne and the richest caviar, the hottest music and the prettiest wife.
Here's the kitty, Ernie, $2,000. I feel like a bootlegger's wife.
Finally getting out of Bedford Falls, huh? Then what?
Then what, honey?
After that, who cares?
Hey, George, there's something funny going on over there. Look over there at the bank. It looks like a run.
Well, pull over a minute, will you, Ernie?
George, let's not stop, please. Let's go straight to the station.
Wait a minute. I better get to see what this is. I'll be right back. What is this, Uncle Billy? Holiday? Why are these doors locked? There's a crowd out front.
This is a pickle, George.
What happened?
The bank called our loan. I had to hand out all the cash.
All of it?
Every last cent of it.
Holy mackerel!
And then, George, I got scared.
Open the doors. Let him in.
Hey, let us in. Come on.
Lock the door.
All
right, now just remember that this thing isn't as black as it appears.
Where's our money, George?
You're thinking about this place all wrong. The money's not here. Your money's in people's houses. It's in the Kennedy's house, and the McLaren house, and 100 others. Now, what are you going to do? Foreclose on them?
I got $242 in here, and $242 isn't going to break anybody.
All right, Charlie, you'll get your money in 60 days.
60 days?
That's what you agreed upon when you bought your shares.
I got my money. Old man Potter's taking over the bank. He'll pay you 50 cents on every dollar. 50 cents?
All of my money back.
Potter gets a hold of your shares. He'll own the building and loan. He's got the bank, and he's got the bus line. He's got the department stores, and now he's after us because he wants to keep you living in his shacks and paying his kind of rent that he decides. Now, we can get through this all right, but we've got to have faith in each other.
My husband's out of work and we need money.
I've got doctor bills to pay.
Well, how much do you need? We've got $2,000 from the wedding.
Oh, hey, Mary, I've got $2,000 right here. This will tide us over until the bank reopens. All right, Charlie, how much do you need?
$242.
Charlie, just enough to tide you over.
I'll take $242.
Okay, Uncle Billy. Give Charlie $242. All right, Ed, now how much do you need just to get by?
$20, I suppose.
Now we're talking. Miss Thompson, how about you?
But it's your own money, George.
Never mind that. And how much, Miss Thompson?
Could I have $17.50?
$7. Oh, bless your heart. Of course you can have it. Uncle Billy, give her $17.50 and pay it back when you can. All right, who's next?
Look at the clock. Look!
5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. It's 6 o'clock. We made it. Oh, look, lock the doors, Uncle Billy. We're still in business.
Bailey Brothers Building and... just a minute. George, there's a call for you.
Well, look, will you call my wife on the phone? She's probably over at her mother's.
Mrs. Bailey is on the phone.
Oh, I don't want Mrs. Bailey. I want my wife. Oh, wait, Mrs. Bailey? That is my wife. Mary? Hello? Listen, dear, I'm sorry. What? Come home? What home? 320 Sycamore? Well, what? Whose home is that? The Waldorf Hotel, huh?
That doesn't look like the Waldorf.
Oh, no, number 320 Sycamore was the old Granville house, the one George and Mary threw rocks at and made wishes. Mary had prepared the house, including a turkey dinner, romantic decorations, and even a marriage bed.
Welcome home, Mr. Bailey.
Well, I'll be.
Remember the night we broke the windows in this old house? Well, this is what I wished for.
Darling, you're wonderful.
Yes, sir. That's where they spent their honeymoon. That's where they started their lives together. Mary made the leaky old house a home while George toiled away at the building and loan office.
Oh, gee, Mary Hatch, why in the world would you ever marry a guy like me anyway?
To keep from being an old maid.
I was going to give you the moon, but what have I given you? Not even a new dress, not for months. You could have married Sam Wainwright, anybody else in town.
I didn't want to marry anybody else in town. I want my baby to look like you.
You didn't even have a honeymoon. I promised you. Your what?
My baby.
You mean, Mary, you're on the nest?
George Bailey lassos the stork.
Well, Mary had her baby, a boy.
You don't say.
Then she had a girl. Night after night, George would come home late from the office. Things weren't good with the building and loan. Potter was bearing down hard. Then came the war. Mary had another baby by then, but still had time to run the USO. Gower and Uncle Billy sold war bonds. Violet entertained the troops. Bert the cop was wounded in North Africa. He got the Silver Star. Ernie the taxi driver parachuted into France. But Harry Bailey topped them all, a Navy flyer. He shot down 15 planes, 2 of them as they were about to crash into a transit full of soldiers.
But what about George?
4F on account of his ear, George fought the Battle of Bedford Falls. Air raid warden, paper drives, scrap drives, rubber drives. On VE Day, he wept and prayed. VJ Day, he wept and prayed again.
We're getting pretty close today, aren't we, sir?
Yes, Clarence, you know now almost everything you have to know about George Bailey, except what happened that finds him down there at this moment wanting to die. Today's the day before Christmas, and Billy's at the bank to make a deposit when he runs into Potter.
Well, Mr. Henry F. Potter. Come to the bank to deposit some more loot? How would you like the news in the paper today, Mr. Potter? Harry Bailey wins Congressional Medal of Honor.
Let me see that newspaper.
Here you go. Go on and keep it. I'm off to make a deposit.
Good morning, Mr. Bailey.
Good morning, Horace. Here you are. Deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, you too, Mr. Bailey. You want to make a deposit?
Oh, certainly.
Well, it's customary to bring the money with you.
It's gone. Where did I put it? Where did I put the money?
A terrible thing, Clarence. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in that newspaper he gave to Old Man Potter. At the same time as Billy started looking for the deposit, Violent came to visit George at the building and loan.
Oh, hello, Vi. What's wrong?
You see right through me, don't you?
How much do you need?
I hate doing this to you, George, but I won't be asking for any more after this.
You're planning on robbing a bank, Vi?
I'm going to Manhattan.
What's in Manhattan?
Why, everything's in Manhattan. A new start, at least.
That's a big step, Vi. What's the matter with starting a new life right here in Bedford Falls?
Well, I'll be. Never thought I'd hear that from you, George Bailey. I thought you hated this place.
Well, I did. But this town has a charm of its own.
I've made a decision. There's a midnight train tonight, and I plan to be on it.
Takes a lot of character to leave your hometown and to start all over again. Here's some dough.
Oh, no, George, don't.
What do you want to do? Hawk your furs in that hat? Want to walk all the way to New York? You know they charge for meals and rent there just the same as they do here in Bedford Falls.
Yeah, sure.
It's a loan. That's my business, building and loan. Besides, you'll get a job. Good luck to you.
I'm glad I know you, George Bailey. Merry Christmas.
George!
What's the matter, Uncle Billy?
The money. The $8,000.
What? Uncle Billy, what happened to it?
I thought I had it. I just don't know what happened.
Well, the first place you look is in your coat pocket. I told you to put it there when you left.
Oh, I'm no good to you, George. I'm no good.
Uncle Billy, we've got to find that money. Think.
I can't think anymore. George, it hurts.
Where's that money, you stupid, silly old fool? Do you realize what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. One of us is going to jail, and well, it's not going to be me.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Daddy. Hello, darling. Where's your coat and hat?
Left them at the office.
Isn't it wonderful about Harry? We're famous, George. I'll bet I had 50 calls today about the parade and banquet.
Must she keep playing that?
I have to practice for the party tonight, Daddy.
Mommy says that we could stay up until midnight and sing Christmas carols.
Better hurry and shave. The family will be here soon.
Families? I don't want the families over here.
Excuse me.
Did you have a hectic day?
Oh, yeah. Another big red-letter day for the Baileys.
Oh, Daddy, the Browns next door have a new car. You should see it.
Well, what's the matter with our car? Isn't it good enough for you?
Well, yes, Daddy.
Excuse me.
Well, excuse
me.
Excuse you for what?
I burped.
All right, darling, you're excused. Now go upstairs and see what little Zuzu wants.
What's the matter with Zuzu?
Oh, she caught a cold coming home from school. They gave her a flower, and she didn't want to crush it. So she didn't button up her coat, and now the doctor says she has a cold, but nothing serious.
Was the doctor here?
Well, I called him right away.
Oh, is she running a temperature?
Just a teensy one.
Oh, gosh, it's this old house. No, why we don't have all pneumonia. This drafty old barn. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why did we ever live here in the first place? I don't know why, in this crummy old town.
George, what's wrong?
Everything's wrong. You call this a happy family? Or why did we have to have so many kids?
Dad, how do you spell frankincense?
Oh, I don't know. Ask your mother.
Where are you going?
Up to see Zuzu.
Hi, Daddy.
What's happened to you?
I want a flower.
Where do you think you're going?
I want to give my flower something to drink.
Here, give it to Daddy and I'll take the flower.
Look, Daddy, some of the petals came off. Paste it.
All right. Now there. It's good as new.
Give the flower a drink.
Now, will you get some sleep?
I'm not sleepy. I want to look at my flower.
I know, but you just gotta go to sleep, and then you can dream about it, and it'll be a whole garden.
It will?
Uh-huh.
Telephone!
Oh, I'll get it. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Bailey. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Welsh. The doctor says she'll be out of bed in time for her Christmas dinner.
Is that Zuzu's teacher?
Yes.
Let me speak to her. Hello? Mrs. Welch? This is George Bailey. Say, what kind of teacher are you anyway? What do you mean sending her home like that half naked?
George!
Is this the sort of thing we pay our taxes for? To have teachers like you, silly, stupid, careless people who send our kids home without any clothes on? Ah, stupid.
Hello, Mrs. Welsh. I'd like to apologize for... she hung up.
I'll hang her up.
Now, who do you think you are?
Oh, hello? Who is this? Oh, Mr. Welch. Oh, that's fine, Mr. Welch. Gives me a chance to tell you what I really think of your wife.
George!
Will you let me handle this? Oh, hello? Oh, will you, huh? Okay, Mr. Welch, anytime you think you're man enough. Hello?
Daddy, how do you spell hallelujah?
What do you think I am, a dictionary? Janie, haven't you learned that silly tune yet? You played it over and over again. Now stop it! Stop it!
George, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, Mary. Janie, I didn't mean... You go on and practice. Now, Pete, I owe you an apology, too. What do you want to know?
Nothing, Daddy.
Well, what's the matter with everybody? Janie, go on. I told you to practice. Now go on and play.
Oh, Daddy! George, why must you torture the children? Why don't you...
Mary.
Where's Daddy going? Bedford 247, please.
Is Daddy in trouble?
Yes, Pete. Shall I pray for him? Yes, Janie, pray very hard.
Me too?
You too, Tommy. Hello, Uncle Billy?
So that's it, George? You're short $8,000?
I'll pay any sort of interest, Mr. Potter, if you still want the building in loan.
You say it was lost. Did you notify the police?
Well, no, I haven't. It was with Harry's homecoming tomorrow.
Why come to me? Why not go to Sam Wainwright?
I can't get a hold of him. He's in Europe.
What kind of security would I have, George?
Well, I have $15,000 life insurance policy.
How much is your equity in it?
$500.
And you want $8,000. You used to be so cocky. You were going to go out and conquer the world. You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. What are you but a warped, frustrated young man crawling in here on your hands and knees for help? You're worth more dead than you are alive.
I'll do anything, Mr. Potter. Please help me.
You know what I'm going to do for you? As a stockholder of the building and loan, I'm calling the state examiner to get a warrant for your arrest. Misappropriation of funds, manipulation, malfeasance. Go on and run. You can't hide in a little town like this.
Merry Christmas! Glad you come.
Where's George, sir?
After running out of Potter's office, George ended up at Martini's bar. He had a couple of drinks and is just sitting there.
What's he saying?
Shh.
Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way.
Are you all right, George?
Why you drink so much, my friend? You don't feel so good? Please go home, Mr. Bailey.
Bailey? Which Bailey?
This gentleman is Mr. George Bailey.
George Bailey, huh?
Hey!
What? Now, the next time you talk to my wife like that, you'll get worse. It isn't enough she's slaves teaching your stupid kids how to read and write. You gotta bawl her out.
You get out of here, Mr. Welch. You hit on my best friend.
All right.
Mr. Bailey, are you okay?
Who is that?
Mr. Welch, but you don't worry. He don't come here in the place no more. I'll get something for your face. It's bleeding.
I'm all right.
Please don't go away, Mr. Bailey. Please don't.
George is headed to the bridge now, Clarence. Can you see him?
He looks like he's going to jump.
It's time, Clarence.
Help! Help me! I can't swim!
Hold him, mister. I'm coming.
Hey, what the Sam Hill are you two doing? Now get out of the water! Are you two all right? You need a doctor?
I'm all right.
I'm fine. This underwear, I didn't have time to get anything stylish. My wife gave me this on my last birthday. I passed away in it.
Passed away?
Oh, I see Tom Sawyer is drying out too.
Who?
My book. I left in such a hurry. I brought Tom Sawyer with me. You should read the book, the new book Mark Twain is working on.
How'd you happen to fall in?
I jumped in so you wouldn't go through with it.
Go through with what?
Suicide.
Oh, suicide's against the law around here.
It's against the law where I come from too.
Well, where do you come from?
Heaven.
What?
I had to act quickly. That's why I jumped in. I knew if I were drowning, you would try to save me. And you did, and that's how I saved you.
Very funny.
Your lips bleeding, George.
I got busted in the jaw for an answer to a prayer.
Oh, no, George. I'm the answer to your prayer.
Well, how do you know my name?
I know all about you.
What are you? Are you some kind of mind reader or something?
Oh, no. My name's Clarence Oddbody. AS2.
Oddbody? AS2? What's that, AS2?
Angel second class.
What? You may not need a doctor, but I do.
Cheerio, my good man.
Hey, look here. Why'd you want to save me?
'Cause I'm your guardian angel.
Oh, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Ridiculous of you to think of killing yourself for $8,000.
How'd you know a thing like that?
I'm your guardian angel.
Well, you look like you're about the kind of angel I'd get. Sort of a fallen angel, aren't you? What happened to your wings?
I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm an angel second class. But you can help me earn them by letting me help you.
You don't happen to have $8,000 on you?
Oh, no. We don't use money in heaven.
Comes in pretty handy down here, Bob. I found out a little too late. I'm worth more dead than I am alive.
I won't get my wings with that attitude. You just don't know about all that you've done. If it hadn't been for you...
If it hadn't been for me, everybody'd be a lot better off. My wife and my kids, my friends.
This is going to be not so easy.
Oh, they'd all be better off if I had never been born.
What do you say?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
George, that's wonderful.
Wonderful?
The idea you just gave me. That'll do it. Okay, there. You've got your wish. You've never been born.
Never been born?
Exactly. No worries, no $8,000 to get, nothing. You simply don't exist.
Oh, wait a minute. Say something else in this ear of mine.
That's right. You can hear out of it. Don't you see? You're nobody.
Well, that's the doggonest thing.
Your lips stop bleeding too, George.
Oh, would you look at that? What happened? I need a drink. What about you, Angel? Do you need a drink?
Well, I don't know.
Come on. Let's get our clothes dry and then we'll go.
Our clothes are dry.
That stove's hotter than I thought. Well, look, let's get dressed and we'll stroll on over to Martini's and, excuse me, I'll stroll and you fly.
I haven't gotten my wings yet.
There's a place to sit down. Welcome to the best bar in Bedford Falls.
Bedford Falls? Don't you mean Pottersville?
Pottersville? Hey, where's Martini, your boss?
Look, I'm the boss. You want a drink or don't you?
Okay, all right. A double bourbon, quick, huh?
And what's yours, bub?
I was just thinking of mulled wine, heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves. Off with you, my lad. Be lively.
Look, mister, we serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need any characters hanging around to give the joint atmosphere.
Now, just give him the same as I ordered. He's okay.
All right, 2 double bourbons.
What is it about this place? It seems to have changed.
All of Bedford Falls has changed. You're having your wish, George. You've never been born. There'll be lots of things you've never seen before. Oh, good! Somebody's just made it. Every time you hear a bell ring, it means that some angel's just got his wings.
What did you say?
Clarence, you better not talk about angels around here.
Don't they believe in angels?
Oh, maybe they believe in them, but you know.
So why should they be surprised when they see me?
Don't mind him, Nick. He never grew up. How old are you anyway, Clarence?
293 next May.
All right, that does it. You 2 pixies, you're going out through the door or through the window. Well, look who crawled out from under whatever hole he's been hiding in.
Oh, Mr. Gower.
Didn't I tell you never to come panhandling around here?
Oh, Mr. Gower, it's me, George Bailey. Don't you know me?
Buy me a drink, mister. Just one drink, mister.
Binky, throw this rummy out of here.
You got it.
Hey, Nick, isn't that Mr. Gower, the druggist?
That rumhead spent 20 years in jail for poisoning some kid. And if you know him, you must be a jailbird yourself. Hey, Binky, here's 2 more. Get him out of here.
You got it, boss.
You gotta be... Wow.
What's wrong with Mr. Gower?
He doesn't know you, George, and you weren't there to stop him from putting the poison into that prescription.
What do you mean I wasn't there? Oh, what are you, a hypnotist? Why am I seeing all these strange things here?
It's because you were never born.
Then if I wasn't born, who am I?
Nobody. You have no identity.
What do you mean? My name's George Bailey.
There is no George Bailey. You have no papers, no cards, no driver's license, no 4F card, no insurance policy.
Zuzu's petals. My little girl, some petals fell off of her flower, and I told her I'd fix it, and I stuck them in this pocket. But they're gone, too. Everything's gone.
You've been given a great gift, George. The chance to see what the world would be like without you.
You're crazy as a bedbug, and you're driving me crazy, too. Now, you leave me alone. I'm going home to my wife and my family.
You know the drill. Hands behind your back, sister.
Why don't you bust somebody else for a change?
Oh, hey, officer, where did the building and loan move to?
The building and loan? It was in that building there. Yeah.
The Bailey building and loan.
They went out of business years ago. Now, all that's left is this Burlicue house.
Not so fast, Copper. I know Potter.
Hey, Violet. Hey, that's Violet Bick.
Believe me, I know.
Well, I know that girl.
Well, who doesn't? Now get out of our way.
Taxi! Hey, Ernie, take me home. I'm off my nut.
Where do you live?
Doggone it, Ernie. Don't you start pulling that stuff. And now you know where I live. 320 Sycamore. Now hurry up.
Okay, 320 Sycamore?
Ernie, straighten me out here. I've got some bad liquor or something. Now listen to me. Now, you're Ernie Bishop, and you live in Bailey Park with your wife and kid, right?
You seen my wife?
Seen your wife? Well, I've been to your house 100 times.
What's the idea? I live in a shack in Potter's Field, and my wife ran away 3 years ago and took the kid. And I ain't never seen you before in my life.
Oh, okay. Just step on it. Get me home.
Is this the place?
Of course it's the place.
This here house ain't been lived in 20 years.
Mary, Pete, Tommy, Janie, Zuzu, I'm home.
They're not here, George. You have no children.
What have you done with him, Clarence?
All right, put up your hands, both of you. Now, no fast moves.
Well, Bert, thank heaven you're here. Bert, what's happened to this town, this house? Where's Mary and my kids?
Come with me. I'm going to take you down to the station.
Whoa, but Bert, listen to me. That fellow there, he says he's an angel.
Now, don't make me use my light stick.
Bert, I hate to do this, but...
Oh, run, George, run!
Ma Bailey's boy. Mother?
Mother, what do you want?
Mother, I'm George. I thought you'd remember me.
If you're looking for a room, there's no vacancy.
I'm not a stranger. Mother, please try to understand. Something's happened to me. I need a place to stay. Please let me stay here.
I don't take in strangers.
I'm not a stranger. I know everybody. You know, your brother-in-law, Uncle Billy.
When did you see him last?
Today, over at the house.
That's a lie. He's been in the insane asylum ever since he lost his business. And if you ask me, that's where you belong.
I'm here again, George.
My own mother didn't even know me.
One man's life touches so many others. When he isn't around, he leaves a pretty big hole, doesn't he?
Look, I've heard a lot of things like this before, but you've got me under some kind of spell, and, well, I'm going to snap out of it. Now, let me think. Bailey Park.
There's no Bailey Park if you aren't here to build it.
Well, we'll see. What's this graveyard doing here where Bailey Park used to be? Look at this. It's a gravestone. Why is my brother Harry's name down on there?
Harry broke through the ice and drowned at age 9.
That's a lie. Harry Bailey went to war. He got a Congressional Medal of Honor, and he saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. You see, George, you really had a wonderful life. Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it all away?
What happened to Mary, Clarence?
I'm not supposed to tell you, George.
I know. I don't know how you know all these things, but just please, you gotta let me see her. Where is she?
You're not going to like it, George. She's an old maid.
What? Where is she?
She's just about to close up the library. There must be some easier way to earn my wings.
Is the library closed?
It's Christmas Eve. We can't stay open all night.
Mary, I'm sorry.
How do you know my name?
Please, just 2 minutes. That's all I need.
You sound desperate. I'll help if I can. What exactly is it?
Isn't this town Bedford Falls?
Well, it used to be, but then Potter was elected and renamed the town Pottersville.
Mary Hatch, you live in a white Victorian on Red Street with your mother, and you have an older brother named Marty.
How do you know all this? Get your hands off me or I'll call a cop.
Well, don't you know me? You must. Mary, it's George. Oh, don't do this to me. Where are our kids? I need you, Mary.
Get away from me. Help. Police, help me.
It's George. Please, Mary. You're my wife.
Ah!
Help me, Clarence. Get me back. I don't care what happens to me. Only just get me back to my wife and kids. Help me, Clarence, please. I want to live again. Oh, God, please just let me live again.
George? Is that you, George?
Bert, you come any closer and I'll hit you again.
What the Sam Hill are you yelling for, George?
George? Bert, do you know me?
Know you? I've been looking all over town for you.
I'm alive again. Bert!
You sure you're all right? Your mouth's bleeding.
Oh, yes, it is. My mouth's bleeding. Zeus's petals. There they are. What do you know about that? Merry Christmas, Bert.
Get in the car. I'll drive you home.
Well, Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Hey, Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building and loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter.
Merry Christmas, George. Go on home. The sheriff's waiting for you.
Mary, I'm home. Hey, what is this? Merry Christmas, everyone.
George, I've got a little paper here.
Well, I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't that wonderful? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Well, kids, Pete, Jamie, Tawny. Oh, I could eat them up. Oh, where's your mother?
She went looking for you with Uncle Billy.
George, darling, where have you been? Oh, George.
Mary, you're real. You have no idea what happened.
You have no idea what's happened either. Come on, quick, George. They're on their way.
Who's on their way? The police department? The FBI? The National Guard? Let them in. I'm alive again, Mary.
Yes, come on. It's okay.
Now, you stand right over there by the tree and do not move. George, it's a miracle. Come in, Uncle Billy, everybody in here.
Isn't it wonderful? Mary did it, George. She told a few people you were in trouble, and they scattered all over town collecting money. They didn't ask any questions, just said, if George is in trouble, you can count on me. You never saw anything like it.
Here you go, $242. Merry Christmas.
I busted the jukeboxes too.
Oh, Mr. Gower.
I made the rounds on my charge accounts.
Oh, Violet Bake.
I'm not going to go, George. I changed my mind.
I've been saving this money for a divorce, if I ever get a husband.
Woo, Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry
Quiet,
Christmas,
everybody,
George.
quiet.
George, hey.
A telegram from London.
London!
Mr. Gower cables you need money. Stop. My office instructed to advance you up to $25,000. Stop. Hee-haw and Merry Christmas, Sam Wainwright.
Angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy.
Harry!
Mary, looks like I got here too late.
Harry, how about your banquet in Washington?
I left as soon as I got Mary's telegram.
How about some wine?
Good idea. A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
Yeah, yeah. Here's to him. Yes.
Old acquaintance we forgot and never brought to mind.
What's this book, George?
Tom Sawyer.
Look, there's an inscription.
George, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
What's that?
Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy. Teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
This has been WBFR Playhouse of the Air's presentation of It's a Wonderful Life. Please stay tuned for a program of popular holiday music. This is Freddie Fillmore signing off for WBFR in New York City and wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Good night.
And now the cast of It's a Wonderful Life, a radio play. Barbara Kerr, Gilmore Rizzo, Thalia Hayden Farrell, Jonathan Hatzios, Ralph Johnson, Heather Reba, Jerry Steffen, Don Savage, Randy Doney, Joe Smith, and Manny De La Rosa. Thank you and have a Merry Christmas.
So you just watched It's a Wonderful Life, Thalia. What'd you think?
Oh my goodness, in addition to that being so much fun, it went so smoothly and it was so professionally done.
You know, it is so much fun to work with people that you work with, like you and Jerry and Manny, and all the new friends we met.
We certainly did, and we have so many people to thank.
We have an awful lot of people to thank because Joshua Carr and Ray Lamone from Desert Theatricals helped put all of this on.
And thank you to the city of Rancho Mirage for allowing us to put on this production.
And Thalia, all we have left to do is to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas.
So thank you to everyone, and have a very Merry Christmas.